Here today with Dan from Boxer. Appreciate your time today. So yeah, we've got a situation where two of the opponents have fallen out, and we've got Richard Riakporhe versus Dion Juma. I've known Dion Juma for a long time, trained by Gary Logan. Tell me about the main event.
It's a big fight, you know. It was unfortunate circumstances because Lawar's out of COVID, Turchi's out with an injury. But luckily, both of those bouts were cruiserweight bouts, so it was a kind of easy fix. Ben's called me, he's asked me he wondered if it was a good fight, and I said it's a great fight, but I'm not sure if Richard would take it. It's quite a risky fight. You have to rate Richard big time for taking this fight, because let's be honest, he didn't have to. You know, he's further on in terms of where he's trying to get to take the fight with Dion. He could have easily said, "Oh, I don't fancy it because, you know, it's perhaps too much risk for reward or whatever it is." As soon as the fight got made, I shouted Richard. I was just like, "I rate you big time for taking that fight, man." But this is a risky fight, and I know everyone says it every week that, you know, it's a dangerous opponent. Everyone says it. This is a dangerous opponent. This really is. You know that. You've known Dion for a long time. Yeah. I've known Dion since I was 13. We was at Del Youth together, all of that. He can fight. He can fight. A lot of people consider him, you know, a bit of a boogeyman in the division.
Yes.
But Rich is a brave game boy. You know what I'm saying? He's had enough domestic dust-ups to believe that he can win this one as well.
Yeah, well, he's definitely going to be confident. But I think it's a great fight. I finally had a chance to interview Caroline Dubois today. I think for me, one of the biggest fights in boxing, or in women's boxing, easily, it's either Katie Taylor-Serrano or Clarissa Shields versus Savannah Marshall.
Yeah.
So I rephrase it because I know I know Savannah's team better. Let's say Savannah Marshall, Clarissa Shields. Tell us about some of the female fighters you got. I interviewed Ebony Jones recently.
Ebony Jones, she had a tough fight the other day in Glasgow.
Unlucky,
I thought she did enough to win.
Yeah.
Got obviously Caroline Dubois. We've just got Shannon Ryan. She comes with a big reputation as well. Our female stable is every bit as good as our male stable, if I'm totally honest. You know, got some, obviously Tasha Jonas, our first, you know, boxer-made world champion. Our female stable is special. It really is. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I was just about to go out and say it's probably the best female stable in the world, but I'm not even sure if I'm getting ahead of myself there. I think it really is. You know, it's top quality women's stable. A lot of fighters that will go on and achieve big things.
I've got to be honest, what people would say about that, they'd say, but what about Matchroom's female stable? Better than that?
Good, they got a good one.
Yeah.
But it might be neck and neck.
Yeah.
But we invested heavily in ours, and I personally think we've got a lot of future female world champions here.
Sounds great. And last question I'll ask for today. I mean, recently I've been going to everyone's press conferences, got into the Tyson Fury one. Matchroom have always been great with me. So for me, look, I'll work with anyone, I'll talk to anyone. But I hate seeing all this sort of rivalry in boxing, and I don't want to talk to them, or I don't. So what's your view on working with the other promoters? How do you see these relationships developing?
I think in boxing you have to work with people, man. That's why we've got a partnership with Top Rank.
Yeah.
That's why we work with Wasserman. Like we want to work with people, you know. I don't think cold wars are healthy in boxing. There's enough of them where and sometimes, you know, these kind of bits of segregation and war can stop big fights from happening. We've seen it, you know, how many fights over the years never happened just because there was two different promotional companies that don't want to work with each other.
Exactly.
So I think it's best when everyone works together. Obviously, that's a perfect world. It doesn't always work like that. But the fans are the only losers, if I'm honest, when people don't work with each other because they don't get the fights that they want to see when they want to see them.
Yeah, and I mean, to finish off on that note, as I say, for me as a fan, I just want to watch fights. You know, like Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. I don't care who promotes it. I want to see that fight. So, and hopefully, I hope we see more of that attitude in boxing, more positivity. But yeah. Thanks a lot for your time, Dan.
Oh, Rob, always.